Aries, Sun, Moon, and Risings. I'm Susan, your intuitive, and this is your month of July, Cancer season, 2025 tarot and astrology reading. This will come out the same day that Neptune goes retrograde in your sign, and we're about a week from Saturn going retrograde in your sign. So some things to look forward to. And Venus will be going into Gemini. We're going to see what the cards have to say while I have my notes here as well. Okay. First things first, we have Page of Pentacles, King of Wands, Six of Swords, and the Fool. You are learning from a new risk, or you are taking a beginner's mindset to a risk that's already been playing out, or you're up against this power versus risk in learning the vulnerability that's needed, the transparency that's needed, the words, the communication that is needed to address the situation. What you're going through is this part of you that enjoys a sense of control over your path, over your direction. And you may have gotten to a point where you've had that thus far, but you're also taking a look at where that's come from. Is it your own quest and journey that you've been on, or is there a part of you that no matter your age needs to reconnect or connect with that Fool, with the part of you that isn't sure, but the wind is taking you somewhere else, and you've only had this feeling maybe how many times in your life, and if this is the first time, you'll start to just feel a different opening in your life. These planets going retrograde will need you to decipher between your instincts and your intuition. And the only way to do that is to be really clear with where you're at, and if you can ask for that. So this is also a great time where if you embrace the reflection, meaning reflection period, where you need to surrender control to whatever you're trying to control or put out there, whatever you're constantly putting your energy towards, and energy. And here we have the Neptune card at the bottom, one of them. And what it's really asking you to take a step back, to take a moment before you strike again. Take a moment before you decide. Mars is also in Virgo. Your ruling planet is in the sign of Virgo, and that's also another representation of that. And it perhaps is asking you what you want your commitments and work to be. I think more importantly, it's how it relates to your health, and I'm thinking that your mental health is really high up there. And it's not just your mental health, it's from thought process to output. What the thought process is somewhat of an input. It's coming from your energy, and we're moving into a more frequency oriented time. And that's something that we're going to continue to expand on because it's coming up. You're learning to commit to that. What does that mean? If you're really focused on something, you know more than anyone how much time collapses. You may not think about it in that way because you live your life so much like action, instinct. You're not much, you do think. It's not that you don't, of course. It's just that it's not something that you gear towards and enjoy. That's not your way of experiencing life for the most part. Unless and it's like, it's a beautiful thing because it's a simplicity that is needed. And it's just like, it's almost like nothing is in between you and the barriers. As if you have no fear. Connecting to the vulnerabilities is showing a humanity about you. in real time. It's not something that you have a preconceived opinion around. And even if you do, you might be surprised that it's changed, that it's hit you, that the conversation that you may have with yourself, with an elder, with the control part of you, with someone who has wisdom even to share with you, and that could be, again, your higher self if you go into more of a self-focused kind of way. But right now is also a great time to have these, whether you're talking personally or just openly and objectively about the illusions that come along with life, from the material to the mental to the emotional to all of it, and how sometimes that bravery and pushing through is totally your way. It's your way of going about life. But then the other way is where there is less reflection, and you're just operating from a certain place and it's felt good and it made sense, and now you're noticing something starting to shift in you, especially with Mercury in your 5th house. It's going to retrograde there. Creativity, romance, how you see and operate in these ways, and what creativity means to you now. It may have been work, right? There may have been power involved with that, but now there's this shift happening. There's a larger conversation you're having, and you're noticing that the way you travel and the way that how that's helped shape things if you do travel, right? That fool's journey is, some of you could be just really going on an adventure as well, like actually. Some of you, it just might be like more of an internal type state. And this retrograde is asking you, like, what do you actually want to commit to right now, even if you're not completely matured in that subject or whatever it is that you want to do. It's possible that you have to engage and start at the basics or invest your energy into it. It's going to take a commitment, and you're giving it some thought. You're not just jumping towards it, because I think that's your way of sensing, like, this is something that I know I can go full on into, right? Yep. It's going to help shift and empower, and also bring power back from any place in your life where you may have given it away unknowingly, where vulnerability is actually that's why you're so armored to an extent, that your capacity for vulnerability is somehow reserved or in reserve at times. That's where you in Scorpio are different, ruled by Mars. And right now, as you're taking this risk, there's also, when you start something new, we're all releasing to a capacity, and you're releasing perhaps internally or clearing some space in your life. So whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you're clearing space to receive information through this commitment. And the more you commit, that's what you start to notice when you do something new, honoring your process, because whether you've engaged in speaking or writing or publishing or creating a project that has your mind, words, and actions involved, you may never know what can transpire. Just putting it out there. That could be something that you didn't see coming, comes your way, and it's just another addition to this beautiful life or this full trajectory that you're on, this approach that maybe you blend, like, this is what I can control at this time. And while things are collapsing, what if things can be true? What I talk to Taurus about is, like, what if your assumptions turned into positive assumptions? I guess that could be just a way of altering the language of, and maybe someone's already done this, of manifestation. I'm not looking to, like, think about it that way. I'm just saying, like, what if you assume that? Because I have here written that your ego assimilates, communicates real dreams. The reason why this could be in your field is because Neptune and Saturn are both saying, hey, like, you can really develop some dreams here. You've maybe gotten to a point where, whether it's with your mind, again, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, meaning money, relationally, you've seen how you can really create such wealth, such abundance, such a standard, and in a way, of course, that's co-creating your life. Like input, output, what you like, how you choose to learn, how you choose to grow, who's along for the ride. And now, if you assume that dreams are possible and that you're being given this time of confusion and illusion just so you can shine a light on what's clear. So when we look at what's confusing and illusion, what's the opposite? What's clear? What's become clear? Mars in Virgo is really helping us define that polarity or the opposition or the light during a time of collapse in many ways. And the thing about it is, this brings you, what I think this brings you to is a realization, something I was actually going to share, a practice, a good practice. Not something that you're like probably going to be gung-ho about or care about really, but I think could really help you if you're looking for Aries, since you're here, is asking 5 to 10 people in your life a blind spot or their, perception of you to an extent. If you can learn to be objective and receive, and this could be from someone who you're really close to, but you also are similar, or someone that you have respect for, but will share with you some truth, right? That's kind of like mentorship. And it's in a way where you're asking for it, just to commit more to this process, to how you're creating and the power that you're feeling in the control that you do have in this commitment that you are making. And what allows that is your softness and this sparkle about you that you get to see from others, that you don't notice that you have, regardless of how you're fucking doing. There's just a sparkle about you. You are the baby. And yeah. We'll get more into these cards in the second part. How Uranus has came in and revolutionized, done a 360 check with your nervous system on your self-worth, your skills, your talents, the way you speak into the world. Using our voice and our throat is going to become like a very important muscle in our lives, and I know this and I feel this deeply. So connecting to the feminine and masculine power source that you are, the bravery that you have, while also being in this reflection and understanding that a lot is possible in the material realm. A lot. But it needs your commitment. It needs your devotion to the creative process, to that journey, to being brave and being willing to lead from the heart and be even surprised by what you come across from time to time. You may be integrating, digesting any guilt, shame that you may have felt, but everything you've done until this point, Aries, has got you here, and Saturn and Neptune are just helping you through confusion and clarity and learning how that looks on a day-to-day and how that may change your day-to-day life as well. So being open, being committed to this process means being open to flexibility in your physical world. Yeah, and we'll talk about how that means you have to delegate more, let go of control more, or see what you have and see how you can transform that, not just hold on to it. This is a different way of utilizing money. Uranus is finally moving out of Taurus, and we're going to see a change in that, and a way that is also extremely inspiring and that you're ready to invest in. If this is with a Virgo, or you are collaborating with someone with a lot of potential ideas, and they have an ability to, it's that push and pull you give each other. You have more of that like let's do it. They have like, let's be on the same page. Let's make this more powerful. It can help you really balance out in your life. So you may be continually asked what patience is with other people through this time, because Uranus is moving into your 3rd house for Aries risings, and that is the people that you're closest to. That's communication. So that will ultimately shift, and you may need to share some of that vulnerability and let go of that armor. And they may even be surprised at the softness they encounter within you, and the surprise will show you how distant you have been, and now the closeness that you get to create with that moment of vulnerability. Talk about trust. Let's talk about it. We'll see you in the next part. All information is below. The extended reading on Patreon, my services, website link, payment options, YouTube and Instagram at Venusian Wave. Check everything out there as well. But of course, here on YouTube. We'll see you next time, Aries.